You're actually one of the first people I know personally that actually worked inside the crypto industry. So I was really wondering, for a lot of our non-crypto working viewers and audience, how does someone in a non-crypto position find themselves in a privileged research position in the crypto industry?
So the way I did this is that I first got a PhD in information theory in electrical engineering. So the way you do that is, if you want to, you had to do really well in school. I had to get into a PhD program, and then I had to finish the PhD, learn how to do mathematical research in the first place. And then I think the main thing was that, you know, I had a credible resume as a researcher, and I was one of the few people who wanted to go into an industry that was by many not considered legitimate. And that got me in.
So I don't know if everyone's going to be able to just get a PhD.
Right, exactly.
So would you have any advice for, let's say, like, your nephew came to you and was like, Uncle Chris, like, I think I want to get into crypto and maybe crypto research. But let's say, like, he doesn't want to get a PhD. Like, what advice would you have for him then?
Well, you know, the question of do you want to get into crypto research is, if you want to do the kind of research that I'm doing, you probably need a master's at least or a PhD, because that's the thing that educates you to do this type of research. On the other hand, maybe you mean something more broadly when you say crypto research or crypto industry. How would you get in the industry? You know, I think the #1 way would be to learn how to program something in the industry.
Okay.
That would actually be a far easier way for me to get in the industry, to be honest. Figure out what open source projects are available, and then try doing them. Figure out how to do them. And if you can't, try to find resources to help you how to do them.
Right.
And then create a deliverable that's needed for some cryptocurrency project. And then use that in a resume to apply to those industries. Reach out to the people in those companies and make sure they know that you've done those things and you want to help and you want to work with them.
Right.
That would be my strategy if that's what I wanted to do.
I guess that's pretty fair. So you don't think, like, someone that's just enthusiastic or interested in crypto would be able to get into a research position in crypto?
Well, you know, you have to have some level of competency in the actual thing.
Right.
Other than just
rigorousness.
You know,
and
there's a difference between necessary conditions and sufficient conditions. Being enthusiastic is a necessary condition, but it's not sufficient. You need to have the skills for that specific thing. But you don't need to be a researcher to be in the industry. You got to find a use for yourself. I think there's one thing that needs to happen, and we talked about that before, is that we need to, well, what I think ought to happen is that we somehow change the social consensus layer. You know, maybe that's something involving law. So maybe you want to become a lawyer or work in that industry. Find a way for smart contracts to be used for real world things. As I've said before, they're just the cheaper, faster, better, and more fraud-proof way of doing online digital contracts. It's as good or better than the existing solution, and the technology is already there. In many ways, what you really want is just usage more than even more crypto projects. You want the basic structure of it to be used for things in the outside world. So, you know, if you want to be in the industry, maybe one of the best ideas is that if you want to get in an industry, figure out the parts of the industry that are going to be in demand, and then focus on those things.